Creating some buttons in CodePen the other day when I decided to make users perform a certain sequence in order to activate a button. You know, make things more interactive. And to make things more difficult, I decided I couldn't use JavaScript. By the end, I ended up creating an HTML and CSS only maze. And after adding a little JavaScript, turned it into a little game. The HTML CSS concept is pretty basic. I create all the elements and then hide them, except for the starting one. I then reveal the next element on hover of the previous element, and keep it revealed while hovered. I then add a before pseudo element to cover up the starting element, and combine it with the after pseudo element to show the trail. Then I just keep repeating this process until we reach the final button. Now that I have the base case created, I'll create a simple hover maze. This part has so many elements that I don't want to create and style them by hand, so I'll use JavaScript. But it will be compiled to HTML and CSS at the end of the day. Here's how it will work. I'll start by creating a list of directions. I'll iterate through each direction and create an element. For each element, I'll add the necessary CSS to a dynamically created style sheet. The position and the trailing element will be altered depending on what direction it is. After adding the elements and style sheet to the HTML doc, we have our maze. To create a cool preview effect, I'll duplicate all these elements and add a repeating animation that will be hidden when the user hovers a maze element. Everything up to this point could be created with only HTML and CSS. I just use JavaScript so I don't have to write out all these values manually. However, if I use JavaScript just to randomize the maze values, I can create a little game out of this. The idea is I'll create a CSS decision tree with 10 different splitting branches. This means, based on luck alone, that you should win 1 in 1024 attempts. If you mess up, a new tree is created. To do this, I generate 10 sections of the tree. For each section, I create 2 branches comprised each of 3 points. I flip a coin to decide which of the 2 branches is the correct path. If the user reaches the end of the correct path, the 2 entry points for the next section are revealed. If not, nothing happens. I replicated the preview effect from earlier, but chose to only show it once. Finally, I added logic: if you start the tree maze and exit it, the tree is regenerated. I created a number tracking system to tell when the user has exited the maze, then I remove the previous maze and regenerate a new one. And just like that, I've created this simple luck game using HTML, CSS, and a touch of JavaScript to properly randomize the maze. Let me know how you would have built it in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, consider liking and subscribing. Thanks.